Popping in here for a quick video. I was reading an article about Saylor in a recent interview where he's talking about the future of Bitcoin and also as it relates to strategy. So I figured I would pop in here and share the article with you. It's late night tonight. Just got back from an award banquet where we were awarding the firefighters of California. My church was doing it. It was a lot of fun. So I figured I was reading this article and I'd pop in and I'd share it with you right now. But this is pretty cool for what Michael Saylor is saying here. And he predicts Bitcoin will have a $500 trillion market cap and will demonetize gold. So the article goes on and it talks about Saylor saying that one day, and I'll zoom in for you here, he said that Bitcoin will one day reach a market cap of 500 trillion and surpass gold, real estate, and long-term financial assets as the top store of value. Bitcoin is going to demonetize gold, Saylor said in his keynote, and that it's going to demonetize real estate that's 10x more than gold. Then it's going to demonetize every long-term store of value. So Saylor noted that capital inflows into Bitcoin in a full swing is already on the way, and what he's predicting in the future is eventually the capital flowing into the network is going to take it going from 2 billion to 20 billion to 200 billion to 2 trillion to 20 trillion to 200 trillion. Pretty big predictions for the next 20 years. When it gets to $200 trillion, he thinks at that point it's going to chop along, eventually to do about 20% a year. And then eventually it's going to go to 300, 400, and 500 trillion. Pretty fascinating, right? You have capital flowing from the 20th century assets to Bitcoin from physical to digital. And I think this is just a case in point of what Saylor is saying is we are in a world that still is living in 20th century assets. We're in a world that still is highly dependent upon gold. We see gold is going through the roof this week and has been the last several months. But we're in a digital world right now is what he's saying. So I concur with him, fully agree. And he also said that global capital could increasingly leave traditional and regional assets such as real estate in Russia and private equity in China. So he's basically saying that a lot of the assets is going to flow out of these different countries and the capital that they have in these different countries. And so we're going to see global capital pouring into this as well. So I thought that was a pretty cool article. There's one more I want to share with you here that I think is pretty dope. That will be cool. And it's what he's going to do with his keys when he dies. So Saylor is actually going to get rid of his keys, which is pretty fascinating. So check this out. Michael Saylor's unusual Bitcoin plan for afterlife, making everyone richer and more powerful. So shows this guy's on a mission. And he says that when he dies, he's ensuring no one inherits his wealth. Okay. And this is the reason for his decision. Okay. Pretty cool. Bitcoin as a $200 trillion asset class. He envisions Bitcoin reaching $200 trillion market cap by 2045. And he sees the U.S. adoption of a strategic Bitcoin reserve as a major driver of global adoption. He sees it happening. He's leading the way on it, is my personal point of view. And at the end of the day, it's already happening and it's going to happen. I believe what he's saying. He also says a decentralized charity. So instead of passing on his Bitcoin holdings to his heirs or institutions, he wants to leave all of the money to the human race. And he's going to destroy his keys when he dies. And he says it realizes Satoshi's original vision, and Saylor sees this act as true to Satoshi Nakamoto's principles of financial sovereignty and economic immortality. Burning his keys equals making others richer. And he says, no one should be able to steal your money. By burning my crypto keys, I make everyone in the network much richer and more powerful. And this is pretty cool. I like what he says here. He's thinking in futures. We're all in this together from now to eternity. That's my legacy. So fascinating, right? And here's another thing that he said. I watched this in an interview as well recently. And he says this, which should assure people of strategies, overall strategy here. Michael Saylor says, strategy built an indestructible balance sheet. Bitcoin could trade down 99%. There's no margin call coming. The instruments that are constructed don't have Bitcoin pledged as collateral. So basically, they don't have Bitcoin pledged as collateral. So there's not a lot of risk, is what he's saying, with the strategy of what they're actually employing for their company. And his recent estimation of the strategic Bitcoin reserve, he thinks that in the next 20 years, it will be anywhere from $3 trillion to $106 trillion. Pretty cool, right? You got Senator Lummis, who has a little bit of a different point of view on what it's going to be. She thinks we're going to hit 16 trillion in Bitcoin over 5 years in the reserve. And then, of course, Bitcoin critic Peter Schiff, if you've ever seen him, character, all in on gold. Of course, he's vested in gold and he believes it, and I totally understand that. I don't agree with his point of view. He's always been a critic of Bitcoin, and I don't think he actually understands it or even gives it a fair point of view at all. He's completely biased about gold, but totally fine. And he says that one of the primary drivers of Bitcoin's demand is Michael Saylor's Bitcoin acquisition strategy. So I actually happen to believe that one of the drivers of people's confidence in Bitcoin is because of Saylor, because he leads the way and he stays the course. And even in uptimes and downtimes, he continues to buy Bitcoin. And that's what you want in a leader. He's obviously the leader of MicroStrategy. Of course, it's called strategy. He's obviously the leader of the Bitcoin movement. When you really think about it, 2.4% of the supply they own. And of course, the market's going to follow what leaders do. So he has a big influence over the market, but he doesn't have the primary or sole influence over the market. If he did, he would just be making it go up and up and up and up and up every single day. So he doesn't. So other players are involved. So that's the gist of what's going on. I thought it was pretty fascinating. It's 10:50 at night here in Los Angeles, and it could be 1 o'clock in the morning where you're at. But why not get some good news before you hit the pillow? Okay. Hope it serves you. If you go to watch my other interview, I had a great interview today where it was mute the entire time and I didn't know. And so I went on and on and on without looking at the screen. It was completely mute. And then I jumped back on after the show and did a brand new one. So the audio is good. So you'll see 2 of them floating around until my team takes it down tomorrow. But one of them, it talks about the truth about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. And it gives a whole analysis of what's going on in the markets right now, but also what's going on with the macroeconomic conditions like inflation, what's happening with politics with Trump and the tariffs, what's also happening with the price point dropping down to 82,500. And that is the support level. What does it mean for Bitcoin and strategy in the future? So you should go watch that video, but go watch the one that says bombed MicroStrategy Bitcoin. Ha ha ha. I was on mute. Watch that one because that's the second one. Okay. All right. Hope it serves you. I just wanted to pop on and say hello. But if you want all the data of what happened last week, go check that one out because it's very fascinating, very in depth, and it'll give you a lot of knowledge and certainty about what strategy and Bitcoin is. Okay. Not financial advice, not legal advice, not tax advice, not investment advice at all. Just here sharing some knowledge and information. Hope it serves you and see you on the other side.